Sápmi is the land of the Sámi. It extends without boundaries across the territory of 4 nations, encompassing a vast area of mountainous and forested country, tundra and wetlands. This is where the Sámi people have hunted and fished for thousands of years, roaming the endless trails and naming the mountaintops and streams. It's where they've raised their children, sung the praises of the land, and appeased the gods for good hunting. It's where they've followed the reindeer, driven their herds to better grazing, and watched over the newborn calves. The history of Sápmi is full of forced relocations. Time and again, kings and holders of power moved the Sámi people, allowing others to use their land. Those who disobeyed were punished. The hearts of indigenous peoples are tightly intertwined with their land. In fact, the word Sápmi means both the land and the people. In the olden days, numerous families of reindeer herders moved from coast to coast, regardless of national borders. All this changed with a shift in border politics around a century ago. In the north, the number of farmers began to increase, and the reindeer herds arriving in their traditional grazing areas now became competitors for the land. Norway saw the nomadic life as a burden on the country and the settled population, and came to an agreement with Sweden to limit reindeer husbandry in certain areas. As a result of the new law, a great many Sámi herders lost their traditional summer grazing sites. Thousands of reindeer suddenly needed new grazing lands, and a vast number of families were forced to move to new areas. Thanking the land for the life it had given them, they headed south, leaving their relatives and sometimes their children. Few of them would ever return. They took their stories with them, though. The elderly reminisced about their former home, the land they had loved and left. They called their new home in the south the land of the wolverines and bears. The Sámi, who already lived there, wanted to keep their land, of course. But those who'd had no choice but to migrate also needed homes. The subsequent conflicts over the southern territories made life no easier. This part of Identity on the Line focuses on the consequences of those forced relocations and how they affected the families involved for generations to come. The conflicts that arose then are still having an impact today, a century later. The United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples states that people cannot be forced to move against their will. Their land rights are regulated by international law. Despite this, the forcible displacement of indigenous peoples continues to this day.
Jag står här utanför Ájtte, Svenskt fjäll- och samemuseum i Jokkmokk. Ájtte är huvudmuseum för den samiska kulturen i Sverige och invigdes 1989. Vi fanns alltså här innan gränserna mellan länderna fanns och flyttade med våra renar mellan olika landområden.
Urfolk och marken är hårt sammantvinnade. När man tvångsförflyttade familjerna så bröt man isär det bandet. Sorgen som det skapade lever kvar hos oss än idag.
Vi har sökt i gamla källor efter berättelser från de som blev tvångsförflyttade. Men vi har också pratat med efterkommande generationer.
Men på de nya platserna de familjerna kom till fanns redan samer. Det här skapade jättestora konflikter som lever än idag.